lesson for this week. I'm really excited of what's going to happen with David. So we're going to continue talking about him. Last week we left it where King Saul had actually tried to kill David, but God protected him. And then David actually ended up marrying one of Saul's daughters. And so now he's Saul's son-in-law, and Saul did that to try to keep him close. So now we are moving on. We are in 1 Samuel chapter 19. They're still in the Old Testament, of course. So 1 Samuel chapter 19, if you want to read along and see kind of what's going on here. So Saul he's still really angry with David. He's still really scared. He's thinking that David is going to try to take his kingdom away. So Saul talked to his son Jonathan and all of his servants, and he said, you guys need to go kill him. You need to go take care of this for me. And Jonathan was not happy about that. He loved David. Remember, they were best friends, and he didn't want anything to harm David. So he went to David and he said, look, my dad is wanting to kill you. I don't know what's going on, but don't worry. I'm going to talk to him and I'll see if I can kind of calm things down. So David was kind of confused because, he hadn't done anything wrong, but he said, okay, thank you. Yes, that would be great. So Jonathan went and talked to Saul and he said, look, there's no reason. Why are you doing this? David hasn't done anything wrong. Don't you remember? He even defeated Goliath, the biggest Philistine, for you, and you were really happy about that. Why would you commit a sin and try to kill David when he's done nothing but good for you? Saul seemed to listen to his son, and he said, okay, you know what? No harm will come to David. So that made Jonathan feel better. So he went and he told David, look, I talked to him. He said, everything's good, so you can come on back home. So David followed Jonathan back home. And soon after that, there was another battle that needed to be fought. So David had to go fight more Philistines. So on top of being worried about King Saul trying to get him in his own home, he's still having to go to battle. Oh, that's crazy. So he went and fought some more Philistines, and he came back, and King Saul became really super depressed again, and just his spirit was really down. So now, again, David is having to play for Saul to try to lift his spirits, and King Saul got really mad again at David and threw a spear at him again. But it did not touch David because God was still protecting him. Whew, my goodness, it's crazy. So David ran away and he went home, and his wife was really worried about him because, remember, she's King Saul's daughter. So she had an inside clue of what King Saul was trying to do, and she knew that David was not safe. And remember, she loved David, and she had actually asked to be the one to marry him. So she didn't want anything to happen to him. So she helped him. She told him, look, my dad's gonna try to kill you. You need to get out of here. So come out this window. So she lifted up a window and she told him, go, 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 you need to go. So David climbed out the window and escaped. Well, she was right. King Saul sent men to David's house to try to get him and bring him back to the palace so he could kill him. Well, men got there and said, look, King Saul wants me to bring him. And David's wife said, well, I'm sorry, he's sick, look here. And she had made up this bed to make it look like David was sick lying there, and even had some fur sticking out for his hair. That was a pretty good idea. So the man said, okay, well, I don't know what to do about that. So he went back to King Saul and he said, I went to David's house. He's sick. What do I do now? King Saul did not care. He said, you go back to his house and you bring him here for me to kill. And so the man went back to David's house and went to David's wife and said, you know, King Saul's wanting me to bring him. I gotta bring him. And she's really worried, like she knows that's not David, and she's, you know, no, don't do that. And so the man rips off the blanket and he sees that that's not David laying there. And he's realized that he's been tricked. This woman has tricked him. So he gets really mad at her and can't believe he's been tricked. And he grabs her and they come back to King Saul's house. So they get to King Saul, and the man has told King Saul what his daughter has done. And King Saul got so mad at her. He said, why would you do this to me? Why would you let my enemy go? Why are you helping him? I can't believe it. You've tricked us. And she was so worried, and because she knew how her dad was and how angry he must be right now with her, so she had to think of something to say. She told King Saul that David actually told her that he would kill her if she didn't help him. So what else was she supposed to do? She was worried about her life. That calmed King Saul down, and he understood then what probably could have happened. So David's wife, Michal, saved David's life. David ran away to find Samuel, and he found him in a town called Ramah, which was about an hour's walk from where he was, so it took him a while to get there. But he found Samuel, and he told him all about what King Saul was trying to do. He was trying to kill him. He couldn't believe it. So Samuel took him with him, and David stayed there with Samuel in the tents for rest and safety. So now King Saul has found out where David went, and he sent men to try to take David away from there and bring him back to his house so he could kill him. Well, God intervened, and every time the men went to try to take David, God's presence was so big, like you could just feel him in this place where Samuel and David were, that it was just overwhelming, and you couldn't do anything but praise and worship God because you just felt him there, and it was amazing. So every time the men went, they stopped in their tracks, forgot about David altogether, and just started praising and worshiping God. Now, this happened 3 times. Saul had to send men 3 different times to try to get David. Can you imagine how frustrated he probably was? So King Saul ended up going himself. He said, you know what, fine, nobody else can do this for me, so I'm just gonna go handle it myself. So King Saul went to Ramah, and he was in search for David, but he couldn't help it either. He felt the Lord in that place, and he forgot everything he was doing and praised and worshiped God all night long. And that gave David time to get away. Whew. So now David is on the run from King Saul. He hasn't done anything wrong at all. He's only treated King Saul like he should treat his king, and he's helped him in so many ways, and he's fought all these battles and won, and it just doesn't make any sense. But God is on David's side, and he's been protecting him this whole time, and he will continue to protect him. So David's on the run. All this is happening. So we are going to see where that goes next week. It's going to be really, really exciting. So we will see you guys then.